Good, good morning, everybody. My name is Joy Davis. I'd like to welcome you to Unity of Dayton's online Sunday service for August 30th. Usually you'd see Reverend Cindy White here, but she is on vacation today. So we have a guest speaker. Her name is Rebecca Victor. Many of you know Rebecca. She has sung and appeared at our church many times, and she is deeply passionate about embracing and fully living her spiritual nature as a woman. Being a teacher, she delights in helping those who seek greater understanding to combine the power of their heart, mind, and spirit to live in integrity and joy with their life's purpose and passion. She has over 25 years of teaching and coaching individuals and groups.
Here's what I found online.
Oops. we forgot to turn our phone off. This is just one of those things, I guess, that happens. Back to Rebecca. She is a welcome teacher of New Thought metaphysical principles and serves as a spiritual director for many of her clients. She is here to serve the divine and to celebrate its expression as all whom she meets. Rebecca, would you like to start us with our morning prayer?
Hi, thank you, Joy. And good morning, everyone. It's great to be here with you. Many of us all scattered in all different places, but knowing that we're so very connected energetically to one another. So let's move into a prayer together. And in this prayer, we recognize that there is but one presence, one life, and one power. And it's that presence and life and power that is everywhere, that is all-knowing. And it is in that which we rest. It is that which we rest today. And it is that which gives the power and presence to the words that we speak, to the things that we feel, and to that which it is that we share together. So I know that that presence of life is what is nurturing our time, guiding each and every one of us in our experience today. That it is we receive what is for us to receive, each of us uniquely in our own ways, that we are eternally blessed. And being eternally blessed, we are those blessings, not only for ourselves, but for one another. Amen.
Thank you, Rebecca. Well, that was my phone assistant. I won't say her name because she'll talk again. Isn't it wonderful to live in 2020? She was trying to help me, but no thank you. It's a beautiful day here in Miamisburg. I hope it's a beautiful day where you are. And Unity is built on prayer, so if you have prayer requests, you can send them to revsue@unityofdayton.org. Today's affirmation. I think this is one that many of you will recognize. I think it's Myrtle Fillmore, but I'm not sure. It is. I am a child of God and therefore do not inherit sickness. Let's say that again. I am a child of God and therefore do not inherit sickness. I want to take a moment to welcome visitors who might be here visiting for the first time. Unity of Dayton is found in Huber Heights, but for now we're online and we are coming to you from either YouTube or Facebook. Welcome, and we hope that you will come back. The daily word for today. The daily word for today is light. The light of God surrounds me. When darkness casts shadows in my or in the life of someone I care about, I call on the divine light that lives within me and expresses as me. Just as the light of the sun illuminates the sky, the light of God illuminates my mind, brightens my soul, and warms my heart. Even during life's darkest moments, the light of God is always shining. It's within me as it shines within all people. Basking in this light, I find the strength and power to lift myself up. Through acts of kindness and service, I can be the light that helps to guide others through any darkness they may be facing. Every smile, kind word, thoughtful deed, or offer of help has the potential to brighten someone's day. They rise in darkness as a light for the upright. They are gracious, merciful, and righteous. And that is Psalm 12, verse 4. And now Rebecca will lead us in a meditation.
So let's take a moment to move into a space within our own being that is quiet, that allows us to remember the more of who we are, away from the business of the mind, away from the activities, a place where we create space to welcome the divine awareness of the source of our being. And as we take this time, we consciously and intentionally open heart, mind, and our being to that which loves us with a love that is so profound and so rich and deep and personal that we are just simply at rest within it, that it is there, forever loving us, forever nurturing us, forever uplifting us. Each of us feeling its presence in a way that delights our soul, that just radiates through every cell of our being. And it calls us to remember where we belong, to remember who we are, and to welcome and to take in the love that is there for us every moment of every day. And we rest quietly, tenderly, and we awaken ever so gently, ever so warmly to the message that it has for us every time we enter this sacred space. And so now we take a moment, each of us, to enter that sacred space, to hear, to feel, to sense, to know the love that is waiting there for us. And as we tap in and open to the presence of the divine, that is who we are. We are fed and nurtured in profound ways as we move throughout this service, throughout our day. And so it is.
God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Again, God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Joy, joy is my source. Sing it. Joy is my power. Joy gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Joy gives me everything I need. Love, love is my source. Love is my power. Love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Love gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. Oh yeah, gives me everything, everything I need. Everything I need. God gives me everything I need.
Thank you, Joy. I love that song, and I love what it has to say. God is my source. It's everything that I am and more. So I'm really glad to be here with you. And when Reverend Cindy had asked if I would want to speak, I grew excited because I had just gotten back from a trip to Unity Village. My husband Gary and I had taken the trip there for an intimate gathering with some friends and fell in love with the campus. It was beautiful. It was, filled with fountains and gardens and had a beautiful walking path and just space to wander. And one of my favorite places on the campus was this little tiny house that was known as Myrtle's house. And apparently, when it was created, it had been called the Arches. And it was designed and built by her son, Robert, for her. And what was so interesting for me was the fact that Robert built this house for her without a kitchen. I thought, well, rock on, Robert, creating a house for your mom where she doesn't have to toil and labor at anything, where she can just come and relax and enjoy and be at peace and connect with friends. And that's really what he designed it for. And at first, Charles was really frustrated with the fact that it didn't have a kitchen. He was like, wait a minute, where's this kitchen at? And she's like, wait, this was built for me. I'm going to honor what he built and I'm going to enjoy it. And what was really kind of okay was that even though that house didn't have a kitchen, they had the opportunity to go across the street and actually have their meals with Charles' mother in her farmhouse. So they really weren't without food. It's just that he built this house for her without a kitchen. And I'm thinking, how cool do you see this married woman in the early 1900s having a house that does not have a kitchen, or she's not having to get up and constantly cook and prepare meals and get things ready for guests, where she could just sit and be present with those who came to see her. And I found that, as I said, amazing. And it was part of why I was excited to speak, because I thought of this couple. As I looked at Unity Village and saw its expanse, I realized that it didn't begin with that in mind. That in fact, these two people who co-created this ministry began out of a need to have the pain of illness removed. Both of them had their own physical issues. And for Myrtle, it was tuberculosis, and it exhausted her for most of her life. And for Charles, he had a shortened leg as a result of a swimming accident. So both of them were looking for ways to help to improve their health. And they tried all kinds of manner to improve it. However, nothing did. And so they sought the guidance of really moving in and turning to God. They became students of Mary Baker Eddy's work, Christian Science, to explore how understanding the true nature of God would help them to become aware of who they were themselves. And Myrtle had been working one day in her home, being a mother with 3 children. At that time, your work was really never done. And not that it's always ever done today, but it was very different then. And she was tired easily because of the illnesses that she had been dealing with. But her friend came and said, "Hey, let's check this guy out. Let's go check this speaker out. He's coming in to visit from Chicago, and he's really good. Let's see what he's got to say." And Myrtle was tired. She was like, "I'm tired. I just want to go to bed." And they're like, "Come on, we need you to go." We all have those friends that kind of encourage us to step a little bit beyond where we are, our comfort zone at times. And this was one for Myrtle. And so she decided to attend. She acquiesced and said, "Okay, I'll go with you." And I'm really glad she did, because it was there that she heard a line that forever began the journey that became known as Unity Village. She heard him say, his name was Eugene Weeks, and she heard him say this line, "I am a child of God, and therefore I do not inherit sickness." Now, that's just a line like any other, and we can read those lines. And then one time we might read the line, and it's like, "Oh, that's interesting." But there might be another time that we read that line that it just touches us profoundly. And it touched Myrtle that way that day. It really touched her deeply. And so she came home and she spent time with that particular comment. And we're going to go through that statement, and we're going to go through that in a minute. That's why I chose this statement, because I thought, what a perfect phrase to say, to recognize that we are partners in the creation of our lives with God. Now, what does that mean when we say we are partners with God? Well, what it means is that we recognize and acknowledge that God is all there is everywhere present, and simply is the force of love and the wisdom that underlies all creation. It also means that we recognize and we acknowledge that human beings are divine, really. They're the divine expression of God. They're divine at their core, and they are inherently good. I always think of putty when I think of the image of a child of God. It's like you take a piece of putty and you pull off a piece, and you know that even though you've created this little tiny something off this big glob, that tiny something that you've created has everything within it that belongs to its source. The only difference is that it's not separate from its source. It's part of it. It also means, lastly, that our thoughts have power. They have creative power. And when we use them, we can consciously determine the events and attract those things into our lives that we want. Now, realize that whether we're conscious of it or not, we are creators, period. And part of the work that we do here, in the studies that we do here at church and at Unity, is to uncover how we go about being the creators that we are, the conscious, intentional creators that we are. So to be that, one of the things that we've got to do as a co-creative partner with God is be willing to let go of the ideas that we have had in our life that have kept us small. There's going to be a demand made on us to let go of the idea that we're victims, to let go of the idea that that which is outside of us has control over the kind of life that we want to have. It's not that that which outside of us has the control. It's the idea that we give it control by the things that we believe. So part of our journey in partnering with God is learning to let go and shift that idea to the idea that, yes, we are co-creators, living in the image and the likeness of the divine. And so why would we want to partner with God? Well, personally for me, it's obvious. I would really like to enjoy a life that's filled with the things that matter to me, to feel the love, the magnificence, the beauty, to know that of the creative source of my being, and to know that above me. Living a life of freedom, of happiness, of joy. Being able to access not only the mind that I have, but also my heart. But most importantly, my spirit, my intuition, my intuitive nature. When I access that intuitive nature, it opens up a wealth of experiences and awarenesses that my mind can never give to me, because my mind was dedicated for a certain purpose. It doesn't have the ability to go where my spiritual nature can take me. And my heart to use it to help me in my discernment. So it helps me to access those, and life becomes much bigger and broader and more expansive. As I said, it helps me let go of being a victim. And that's really important right now, because I know for a lot of us, we're experiencing the chaos that's happening in our world. And that chaos can feel frightening because it is like things are flipping on top, upside down, inside out. And we're like, what we used to be able to go, I knew how that operated and I knew how I was in relation to that. And therefore I could tell if I'm on target or not. It's not there anymore. It's almost like shifting sands, and things are changing. And it's like, what do I look to in order to discern I'm on the right track? Well, as we partner and co-create with God, we realize that being on the right track isn't so much about looking at the things that are around us, as much as turning within and paying attention to that internal guidance that we get to know as we practice more and we learn more about who it is God is and who it is that we are. And what's marvelous is that we can, like Myrtle and Charles, experience how partnering with God can provide something incredibly beautiful for us. Can take something that is coming from our pain or our passion for something and can build from it moment by moment, step by step, something we could have never conceived if we had not opened to that and partnered with God. So how do we partner with God? Well, the key is to make time to partner with God every day. And the more time we make to partner with God, what happens is we really start walking in the presence of the divine. It's consciously a part of us every moment. And it's really a delight. I know the difference when I'm there and when I'm not. And I prefer being there much more than not. So part of partnering means that we make the time, and when we make the time, it means that we have to do things like meditate. Meditating is simply creating space within you to become aware of something more than what the mind has to tell you. It is creating within you an awareness, not only of that which is beyond what the mind is, but the heart and that which takes us into experiences and awarenesses of things that we have never had before. It's an opening, it's an expansiveness. And often for me, I can't even put words to you except it just feels like this. And it feels, I don't even have a description for how it feels at times, but I like it. But it's simply creating that space, and that can be done whether you're sitting quietly, meditating in a chair, whether you're listening to some music and you're painting. You could be walking out in a park in nature somewhere. I often will do it if I'm doing dishes. Sometimes I'll meditate when I'm mowing. It's just something that I can do that I can get lost in that, or my mind really can get lost in what is happening. And all of a sudden there's an opening and it's quiet. There's nothing, no chatter, there's nothing coming in, but there's an awareness. We can also pray. Pray is just that communication with the source of our life. It's having a conversation like I'm talking with you, although it's kind of one-sided at the moment, right? But it's having a conversation, sharing, talking about the things that we're discovering and exploring and what we need and what we'd like to see and how frustrated we are or how much we love something. It's all that. It's asking, it's exploring, it's creating out of the understanding that we are these divine expressions of love, fully equipped with that ability to create. Another way to partner with God is to be contemplative. When you think of Myrtle, when she discovered that line, she wasn't immediately healed. She didn't immediately have a clean bill of health. It took her 2 years. And you think, wow, well, that's really effective. It's going to take 2 years to get whole. Yeah. But what she also said and noted is that within those 2 years, the depth of her spiritual growth grew so richly and so powerfully that she not only had the capacity to recognize the wholeness of her own being because she was this child of God, but she could see and know that for another. And that is profound because it's not just, again, what is in the mind. She literally could live it and emanate that. And that's what we all can do when we practice the meditation and we move into prayer and we provide contemplation on ideas. We can identify. Another way we can partner is identifying with what we want. We can claim what we want. We can use our pain. We can use our passion to move us into a greater experience and awareness of what it is to be this divine child. We look to what is the divine that we are from, and who are we? So it becomes a vehicle or a vessel to experience even more the truth of who we are. And then we pay attention as we step forward and we say, I choose this. Like Myrtle stepped forward. I am a child of God. Therefore, I do not inherit sickness. She claimed it. We have that ability too. We can take that first piece of the affirmation today, I am a child of God, and then add whatever we want. We can add, I am a child of God, therefore I am prosperous and abundant. I am a child of God, therefore the relationships I create with others are fulfilling and loving and rich for me. I am a child of God, and therefore I am living on purpose and loving it. We can claim that. And in claiming that and tapping into it and using that affirmation, whichever ones we choose, we can do as Myrtle did, create that space through meditation and prayer, contemplation, to begin to not only know it here in our mind and feel it into our heart, but literally have it resonate in every cell of our being. And that is that gift. Now, when we pay attention and we do this, we think, why doesn't it come? And part of the reason is that just like it had to work through Myrtle, the things that we dream and design and want have to move through our filters. See, Myrtle had a whole lifetime of all these ideas that made it difficult on different levels for her to understand and accept that she could heal. She knew it here. She knew it. But it still had to make it through her subconscious layering to become real within her. And she didn't give up. And that's what we can do. We can claim that which we want, state our affirmations, spend time picturing it, allowing it to move through the filters that we have so that eventually we can let go of the things that are keeping us from what it is that we desire. That it becomes so naturally a part of ourselves. That is easy. So when we pay attention and we claim, then what we get to do is sit back and pay attention and take the steps that we're being guided to take. And what's interesting, if you know, we typically don't get like the life passion, life journey. It's not like going to AAA, right, and getting a triptych where they spell out the whole journey and how you're going to go. All we're going to get is the next step. And I was spending time contemplating that, and all of a sudden it was like bing, and I thought, this little response I'm going to share with you, it was really powerful. And I thought, oh, the reason it doesn't come all at once is because we are creators, and that which is life itself cannot it cannot, how's the word I want to use? It cannot interfere with what we're creating. We have free will. As creations of the divine, we have free will to decide how we want to create and what we want to create. And it cannot intercede. It cannot interfere unless we invite it. And then it can come into the nature that we invited it, into the depth that we invited it. When we're given that one step, what happens is that as we take a step, we begin to be exposed and open to another level of opportunities from which to choose. And until we choose what we want out of that level of opportunity, no more action is going to come forward. But once we make that decision, the door's open for that. And the next step is there. And then we come to another spot. We're taking that step. It has just opened us up to another plethora of opportunities that we have to decide, where do we want to go with this information now? So ultimately, the action of one step at a time is in honor of who it is that we are as divine beings, that we are the creators of our life, and that we can co-create with God. But we have to invite that into our lives. So as we listen and we play with God and we partner with God, we become more fully the creators that we are, right? And in becoming more fully the creators that we are able to live lives and to create a vision for humanity that for us at this point is breathtaking and beautiful. Oh, I wasn't expecting that to take off like that, but that was my little sign to say, time's up. So let me finish this. So we're learning to play and to partner with the divine. We're learning to be who we are as the creators that we are. And this enables us to create a vision for our lives and for collectively for humanity that can be breathtakingly beautiful. So much so that at this point, as we sit here, we can't even conceive of its magnificence. But if we are willing to open up, to trust, to become that partner, to acknowledge who we are, to let go of the victimhood, to claim the power of our own being, to stand in alignment with the source of who we are, then like Myrtle and Charles, we can create and take from our pain points and our passion and build a life that is beautiful beyond measure. So I hope you'll join me in this venture because we deserve it. The world we live in deserves it. It's our birthright. And I'm looking forward to co-creating that with you. Thank you.
Wow. Rebecca, that was wonderful. Thank you so much for that inspiring message. And now it's time for us to say our offering blessing. If you want to contribute offerings and tithes, you can do so. There's a link at the email that we sent. You can also go to unityofdayton.org and there will be instructions on how to contribute, or you can put money in an envelope and mail it to 6741 Chambersburg Road, Huber Heights, Ohio, 45424. Yep. Anyway, so let's say our blessing. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. Well, it is time for announcements. Yay! Okay, so I want to tell you a couple things. Number one, World Day of Prayer is coming, and we will be having a gathering on the grounds at Unity of Dayton Thursday, September the 10th at 6:30. Some of the activities are Arts Memorial Garden, the Peace Pole, the Prairie, and the Labyrinth. You can arrive early if you want to visit. You're welcome to bring a dinner if you like. You may be interested also in going to unity.org for some online activities from Unity Village, and you can light a virtual candle. Also, coming right up is the Hospitality Picnic, and that is next Sunday, I think. No, yes, first Sunday of the month. Yeah, September 6th at 6 p.m. What we would like you to do if you want to participate in that is to bring your own chair, food, drinks, and utensils. Some people are just driving by and waving people from their cars, but however you would like to come, we hope you do and join us. Another opportunity for something to do at Unity is a drumming and meditation circle. The next one will be on September 18th. You can bring your drums and your rattles or rain sticks. Bring a lunch if you like. Did I say that's at 11? I think so. But I want to let you know that the restrooms will not be open for that event. And then we have two classes that I want to tell you about. And they are Waking Up in 5D, led by Dan Studebaker. And Victoria Heron has an online study group of The Power is Within You. Dan's meets on the first and third Wednesday from 7 to 9. Victoria's is Wednesday from 10 to 12. You will need a Zoom invitation if you want to take part in either of those. You can get that by emailing unity@unityofdayton.org for your invite. And I think that's about it for the announcements. We look forward to seeing Reverend Cindy again next week. And wow. Thanks again, Rebecca Victor. That was just a wonderful, heart-opening experience. I know I feel more spiritually fit. So, let's say the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Have a blessed week. And remember, you are the light of the world.